Montana. Good afternoon for our friends on the East Coast. How you doing, Senator?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Yes. How about you?
I mean, yeah,
Another 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 day in paradise?
I have one cup of coffee in, and I'm going to need another one. That's for sure.
I've
Are you
got
drinking coffee?
yeah, I've got a coffee with additional, things in it. Um,
Wait. Tell us
it's
more.
I'm about a half a pot in.
What's in your coffee?
My coffee's got creamer with some zest. How's that?
I need to get on this. I need to get on this trend.
Yeah.
Does
Well,
it
that's
make
good.
does it make the day go by easier?
No, but it tastes good. Makes coffee taste really good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We just wanted to hop on here. Our last episode was on Monday, and we had the Rachel Maddow on, and I'm still getting feedback from it. How about you, Senator? I mean, it was just a really wide-ranging conversation that I still am thinking about some of the things she said.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got good feedback from it too. I think that, she offered up some perspective that people need to hear, and I think, her last statement about, constitutional republic, and if you want that, you're on the team. Forget about all the other crap because these guys, as witnessed by Pam Bondi day before yesterday, these guys don't really care about the Constitution, and they really don't care about checks and balances, and they really don't care about anything but quite honestly, it's been said before, so I might as well say it. They don't care about anything but their own wallet, and, uh and all the stuff just points to that, from what happened in Venezuela to taking, at least saying they're gonna take the oil money and put it in an offshore account in Qatar under the president's name instead of going in the US Treasury, to, selling crypto from the Oval Office to, well, you name it. It's a little bit bizarre, and as I see the carrier group, and I don't know if we're gonna talk about this today or not, I don't wanna take away any of your thunder, Marisa, but as I see the 2nd carrier group heading to the Middle East, I mean, these guys are working like hell to get us into a war, and, there's plenty of folks out there that, want them to do it, but, I can't imagine that, actions in Iran will be the same as they were in Venezuela, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's just so much to watch, and somebody just asked me, "Did you hear about this?" And I hadn't, and it's because we're just inundated with these
Yeah,
headlines.
there's so much crap going on. Congress is absolutely AWOL, continue to be AWOL on most issues, although there's a couple that have shown up lately that I commend them for. They need to do more of that. They need to reestablish the legislative branch's, uh, authority within our country because it hasn't been much the last year. And the part that upsets me is, not only are they, not around on a lot of these issues that are really important to this country, but, after talking to some of the folks in the Senate that are still there, a lot of them don't even care to get informed on what's going on. They just, "Well, I didn't know about that," or "I didn't know about that." Well, guess what? If you're in the House or you're in the Senate, it's your job to know about that. If you don't know about that, you should be somewhat, ashamed, and you gotta go out and educate yourself. That's part of your job is to find out what's going on in this country so that you can react appropriately. But, it's just the way it is. Politics are running the show right now.
Yeah, a lot of displays, dramatic displays. Maura's asking about the SAVE Act. We're gonna talk about that briefly here in a minute, Maura, but we have to talk about the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Um, I know it was 2 days ago, but I just keep watching these videos. So the Attorney General had an appearance on Capitol Hill this week. I'm sure many of you have seen it, but it had everything. I mean, there was yelling, there were insults being thrown, deflection. She brought a burn book with insults, and every time a Democratic lawmaker asked her a question, she just went to the burn book and didn't answer the question or even it appeared to listen to the question. At one point, one of the representatives said she was acting like Jekyll and Hyde because she acted one way when a Republican asked her a question and quite another when a Democrat asked her a question. I do have the tape. Do you want me to roll some of this?
Well, the only thing I would add to that, unless you're a Republican by the name of Massey, and then she wasn't
Right.
very she was pretty Jekyll and Hyde there. Okay, yeah, go ahead, run the tape, and then
Alright,
we'll
this is a compilation that the Associated Press put together. Let's run it here.
Testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God.
I do.
Let the record show that the witness has answered.
Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board. And
I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through.
Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through?
Gentlemen, ladies,
I'm
reclaim
I'm
their
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to
Yes.
answer the question
How-
the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it. How
Chairman
many have you
Jordan, I'm
indicted?
not going to get in the gutter with these people.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaim.
Not on our time. No way.
Reclaim.
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you
You
started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything.
did tell you because we
Washed
saw
up.
what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names?
We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my
I'm
time.
going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He
It's-
was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude
and
that
she
the president, in
never
fact,
mentioned
did
him
know about his
in
ties
her
because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
This
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic.
beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee will be
Chair.
in order.
I am not asking trick questions here.
You
The
got your
American
5
people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration.
Okay. So that was, we could have gone on and on and on and on.
It
So
was
my
plenty. I'm gonna tell you, the tape was plenty long. I was hoping you'd cut it, minutes ago. Now, I was probably a
only
minute long.
12 minutes.
The one thing cropped into my mind as I was sitting there, thinking about, when I used to be on the other side of the rostrum. Obviously, she doesn't think if you're a lawyer, you have no credibility in Congress if you're not a lawyer, which is just about contrary to every other opinion that I've ever heard in my life. Usually, if you're a lawyer, they look at you a little bit.
Let's not give all lawyers a bad name here,
I'm
Sonny.
not giving all lawyers a bad name at all. In fact, I think that it does do you good to be an attorney if you're looking at the law and reading the law. It gives you a certain advantage. But for her to say you're not even a lawyer, oh god, you shouldn't even have an opinion. Here's the real problem. The real problem is it is Congress's job, and I can't help the ones that didn't ask any questions. It is Congress's job to find out what's going on in the administration. Obviously, she came into that hearing and she thought her job was not to answer any of the questions and to try to monopolize the time as much as possible so that fewer questions were asked. She thought, as by her own statement, she isn't going to answer your question. She'll answer her question, which isn't the way it works. And the chairman was so weak. Sorry about this, Jordan, but you were so weak that you never kept it in order. You never kept it focused. Your members on that committee, both Democrats and Republicans, are the chairman's members, and it's the chairman's job to make sure that those folks that are behind the rostrum, Bondi in this case, answer the question and just don't pivot out of every question. Unless, of course, you're just there like Bondi is to represent the administrative branch, even though you're in the legislative branch. I mean, it just sucks. I'll just tell you, it just sucks. I mean, the truth is that whole thing was a fiasco. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. She went in with the agenda that she wasn't going to tell them one damn thing they didn't already know, and wasn't going to admit to anything. Wasn't going to tell the victims she was sorry, and then blame it on the previous administration. Everything. Well, I just want to tell the folks out there, when I was in the Senate, which was a little over a year ago, Epstein files were not talked about. They weren't talked about. Otherwise, those questions would have been asked. Now, did the previous AG screw up? Maybe he did. I don't know. But the
Well, as
truth is,
Matthew said, this
is
is
20 years.
4 administrations. That's what Massey said. This is
Yeah.
this Oh, is it a senator?
Oh, here we go.
Who is it?
Hang on for a second. Just I'm muting it.
You know, we can't get through an episode of Grounded live without Senator Tester's phone ringing. One of the times, if you're new to us, he had Senator Jean Shaheen call, and, she even went on. Here we go.
Anyway, sorry.
Are you back?
They hung up.
Okay, so, question though. Amos is saying, yes, Bondi was wrong about Representative Raskin. He is a lawyer. Yes, you are right. He is a lawyer. So she was saying, you're not even, I think she called him a loser. I mean, my first question is, you raised 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Did either of your daughters ever talk to you like that when they were teenagers? Because that's what I saw. I saw like
Well, I mean,
sassy 13-year-old.
none of my kids talk to me like that. Boys or girls, okay?
Well, yeah. Okay. Right.
I might add this, when I taught 1st grade music, none of the 1st graders, 2nd graders, kindergartners, 6th graders, none of them talk like that. The truth is that, there was absolutely no decorum whatsoever in that hearing. And she obviously, unlike every other attorney general that's come before her, she obviously isn't the attorney general for the people. She's the attorney general for the president. That's it. That's it. And so if you got a problem and it goes against the president's point of view, they're going to prosecute you or they're going to try to prosecute you. If it goes against crimes against the people, for instance, of Epstein files and the women that were standing in that room, well, too bad. Too bad. We're gonna release the names of the people who were raped, and we're not gonna release the name of the people who did it.
Right. And
That
that was
that's the
brought
bottom
up.
line. And that is why this administration is so, so, so dangerous. They're very dangerous because they don't go with past precedent. They don't go with the last 250 years that made this country the greatest country on earth. And you may argue with that, but I still believe it. They go by their own precedent, and their own precedent is the president. Their precedent is the president. And whatever he does is God. Otherwise, forget it. Nobody else gets representation. Take a look at what they did to Kelly and to Crow, and take a look at what they did to the head of the Fed, and all these folks that they bring up on bogus damn charges, and they're wasting time there. Well, quite frankly, people who are pedophiles are walking, and they shouldn't be. And I don't give a damn what party they're from. I don't care if they got money or they don't. They should not be walking. And it isn't the previous attorney general's problem. It's her problem because she's in that office right now, but she is denying that there's even a problem here. If you don't believe me, watch the hearings. It's disgusting. It
At
truly is.
one point, she was asked about it, and she started bringing up the stock market and the Dow, and it was, I mean,
Anything to pivot,
so
anything to
many
def
non sequiturs. And we need to mention that the survivors, so many of their names were released unredacted.
absolutely.
And they told NBC, so some of them feel like that was done on purpose to intimidate them. And I don't know if that is an accurate statement, but you can't undo that. You can't undo that harm. You can't say, oopsie. I mean, they're more worried about redacting names of the co-conspirators than they are the survivors.
100% correct.
I
You
do want
see,
to.
and the names that I've seen are very powerful people, so they wanna protect their powerful base. I gotta tell you, Maritza, I saw that hearing and it was disgusting, and she isn't the only one, by the way. This happens with regularity when they bring folks in front of the administration, and talk to them. I hope she sleeps well at night. I hope she looks up at the ceiling and says, "I really did the people's work today as attorney general," because she hasn't. She hasn't fulfilled her job. She took that oath at the beginning of that hearing. I don't think she heard what she was saying when she took the oath, truthfully. took the oath as a matter of course. We're just going to get this out of the road. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Well, guess what? It's an oath. It's given for a reason so that you tell the truth and so that you're honest and forthcoming. But none of that occurred in that hearing. It was disgraceful.
What would you I've been dying to, like, create this scenario in my head. I wanna, like, envision Senator Jon Tester up there asking a question and her talking to you like that. What would you have done?
I might have used your quote and said, my kids wouldn't talk to me that way. The students that I had in grade school, elementary school, wouldn't talk to me that way. I don't know what the hell how your parents raised you, but they failed miserably. And then let her go off and talk about what a horrible farmer I am or how I, whatever I did, whatever she has in her burn book on.
Yeah, I wanna see that page.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it truly is ridiculous. I mean, they ought to get a burn book on her. I bet she's got a rap sheet a mile long.
Well, and
Truthfully.
the other thing that was revealed in that burn book, a photographer snapped a photo, and it showed, like, this chart of what Representative Jayapal searched in the Epstein files 2 days earlier, and that did prompt House Speaker Mike Johnson to come out and say, "Oh, hey, we don't think you should do that. DOJ shouldn't be tracking the searches that our lawmakers are conducting in these Epstein files." I mean, what does that tell you? They're paying close attention to what not only what they're searching, but then bringing the receipts to the hearing.
Well, I mean, and just first of all, Johnson saying that is nothing more than words. Did he put anything behind it? Did he put any penalties behind it? Did he tell them if they did it again, there was going to be severe consequences? No. I mean, it's just words, and it is a word of opposition. Which congratulations, you finally stood up to something the administration did. But it shouldn't be surprising to anybody that they track what what these uh, what these senators and House members are doing when they're on their turf. It shouldn't be surprising. It should be almost be expected. That's what they do.
Andy is saying good morning, but also asking if you think there's any chance Bondi will resign or be fired.
No, no on both. I mean, if you watched her reaction during that hearing, she did exactly what she wanted to do. She did. She this that wasn't a reaction to the questions. She walked in. This was all pre-thought. It was all done, and she doesn't care if she gets criticism for it. She just doesn't care. I mean, she's gotten criticism before. We had the lawman on this show twice now, and he said she was an honorable person. Man, I'll tell you, I haven't seen it. I have not seen that at all. She does not indicate to me that she knows right from wrong all, at all. And so now she's not going to quit. She's not going to get fired. She's doing the president's bidding right now.
Yeah. Okay. There's so much we could just talk all about this, but let's move on. I want to touch on this with the asterisk on it that we are going to do a much larger episode, and I'm working on booking that right now about just elections in general and what we should expect as we approach the midterms here this year. Gosh, it's only not, yeah, I mean, what, 8 months away? Can't do math.
Yeah.
9 months away.
Yeah. Well, it's 9 months away.
Oh
This is
boy,
the
another
first.
call.
What the hell?
You gonna take it? Oh, we're on mute again, folks. Okay, so let's talk about the SAVE Act, and Senator Tester will rejoin us here when he's off his call. The House passed the SAVE Act. We did an entire episode on this last year, and so the House passes this. It's basically just a, an overhaul to our elections, puts all kinds of restrictions around voting. Specifically, though, it will make it harder for married women to register to vote if you've changed your name. We've heard a lot of people say, yeah, well, that shouldn't matter. The real ID will get you by. That's not true. And our friend Sharon McMahon has been just a valuable resource in kind of cutting through the lies on this. She's basically equating this to a poll tax, Senator. But the actual bill of the text says that a real ID that indicates your citizenship, not real IDs indicate your citizenship. The real ID will work only if it indicates your citizenship. Well, guess what? Only 5 states offer those special real IDs. They are not the standard ones issued either. You need to apply for those special real IDs. This will affect an estimated 69 million American women. 4 million men, by the way, who don't have birth certificates that match their current legal name. And let me just remind you, to get a passport, it costs about $165. And to get a copy of your birth certificate, it's anywhere between $15 and $40. So this is a real barrier for a lot of people. Not everybody has an extra $5 lying around. So what do you think, Senator?
I don't think this is about voting at all. I think this is about making sure people can't vote. The voter fraud in this country doesn't exist. There's been many, many studies that show that it's little to none. And for those folks out there that want to make this tougher for certain people to vote, it's about stopping people to vote. Look, when I got in the state legislature, the year was 1999. I got assigned a state administration which deals with voting. Both parties work together. In fact, I worked with one of the most conservative Republicans in the state legislature to make voting easier, to make it more accessible, to make it so more people could vote. That has changed now. And now it is about look, the House passed it. The Republican House of Representatives passed it. It would probably pass the Democratic or the Republican Senate too if there wasn't a filibuster. And so keep that in mind for the folks who want to do away with the filibuster. But the bottom line is that this
So
is
you think
about restricting voting in this country, and there is no doubt about it. It's going to impact places that are unfortunately need to have their voices heard. Indian country, rural America, the list goes on.
yeah, so you don't think it'll pass the Senate?
No, I don't think it'll get 60 votes for sure.
Well,
And
this is one of
be honest with you, I think there's a number of Republicans in the Senate that aren't gonna vote for it either. Um,
Lisa Murkowski's one that's already expressed
yeah, yeah.
hesitation about it. But this is one, this is an issue, if it's important to you, this is certainly something to start calling about. Okay, let's talk about DHS because, I mean,
I
like, things are
I might add one more thing. There's a lot of silly damn stuff that goes into the House that people drop in as bills that never see the light of day. This was a silly one that the House actually passed. So you need to be concerned about it.
is that a dig on the House, Senator?
It is, but, there's a lot of them. There's 435 of them, and they have some pretty cockamamie ideas sometimes, so
Okay, like, let me just stop for a second because any one of these headlines, back when I hosted a nightly newscast, any one of these headlines could have been the lead story. But we just are going down the list. So we are entering into another partial government shutdown this weekend, specifically this time the Department of Homeland Security. So I'm so curious about your thoughts on this because Senator John Fetterman, he was the only Democrat to vote to fund this, and he's been criticizing his party, saying that to basically shut down DHS will have no impact on ICE or Border Patrol because they receive tens of billions of dollars in that, what do you call it? The big
beautiful bill. Beautiful,
beautiful bill,
big
beautiful
beautiful.
bill. So that was funded last summer. This will have no impact on ICE or Border Patrol. Of course, the Democrats, they are sticking to their guns here. They want body cameras on DHS agents. They want warrant requirements for searches and home entries, which I thought was guaranteed by the Constitution, but we can talk
It
about that.
is.
They also wanna prohibit agents wearing masks. And so they kind of view this as their leverage. The concern here from people like Fetterman and Republicans is, what about TSA? What about FEMA? But the Democrats say there's just no willingness or has been no willingness to address these concerns about ICE. So what's your take on all this?
Well, I don't think it's about funding. Fetterman's right, it isn't gonna stop the funding because push comes to shove, the president will pull it out of some other line item, by the way, that normally needs Congress to do, but even in the first term, he did that, and Congress didn't put a fuss. He'd pull it out of defense, for example, to build a wall. But The bottom line is that this isn't about funding. This is about using warrants, not wearing masks, being identifiable to the people. All those things are what regular police officers do. Normal folks, if you're county officers, your municipal police officers, the highway patrol, all that. And this is the only way that they can get those folks to follow the Constitution and not wear masks, which I think is baloney, and be identifiable uh, going up and down the street. Um, you know, um, it's just what all other law enforcement does, and to put these guys above it just because they work for the president of the United States is not smart, and it goes against our Constitution.
Well, and I've said this on previous episodes, but you come to my door without a warrant and you're wearing a mask, that like, why would I let you in? And I just worry so much about copycats here.
No, no, I mean it's crazy. It's uh it's not smart, and it goes against all our civil liberties, quite frankly.
Oh
All
my
right,
goodness.
yeah, this is the last time.
How do you know? Okay, we're just gonna keep going on. Um, as a lot of you know, I'm from Minneapolis, St. Louis Park, and I was there reporting a few weeks ago on the ground, like as people were um, being targeted, neighborhoods were being targeted by these ICE raids. Of course, we saw the killing of Renee Good and Alex Preddy there and just caused massive unrest and people fighting back in the city. Well, yesterday, the White House border czar, Tom Homan, announced that Operation Metro Surge is ending in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. He said a significant drawdown is already underway. Two things here. People in Minnesota do not completely trust this because they're wondering if this is actually real, if this is true or some kind of trickery. Someone else then asked me, okay, well, if it is true, where are they going next? What's the next target? And as for Minnesota, so many are pointing to the damage that's already been done and damage that will be felt for generations. So, what do you think, Senator? Do you think that they're actually leaving?
I do, but I also agree with the governor. I think the damage has been done. I think it's generational. I think there's been economic damage done to the city of Minneapolis. It's been really bad. I think it's a prime example. And I know the federal agents say, well, the state wouldn't work with us. I don't believe that for a second. I know the governor personally. He is not an unreasonable man at all, but he's going to follow the Constitution, and he's not going to allow people to go into houses without warrants. And so I think the damage has been done. I think the long-term effects of this in Minneapolis, which is an amazing city. It hurts me to say that since you came from there, but it's an amazing city. And I think the damage is long term, and it's already done. And it's like they went in, they raised hell, they turned the place upside down, and now they're leaving, and they expect everything to be okay. And I think that's a stretch.
I do wanna also mention that there's just so much concern, you talk about them leaving the city, but thousands of people were detained
Yeah,
and taken, and I
yeah.
think I read that only four data shows, like, only 14% had any kind of criminal convictions or history. Um, so
And
that's one thing. Go ahead.
yeah, and what is that? 14%? The fact that they crossed into the country illegally, which is a crime, but it's not like robbing a bank. It's not like uh, it's not like taking advantage of 14-year-old girls. Okay, it's not like that. So, um, uh, I wonder what that 14% is. I mean,
Hmm.
there was a guy that runs a diesel shop in Freud, Montana, that got taken out of the country because he came into the country illegally. Look, the government has every right to do that, but I'm not sure those are the kind of people that people say, well, they're criminals because I think that's a different kind of breaking of the law myself.
Main Street, Montana, on our Substack chat is saying that any vacations people plan this year should go to Minneapolis and spend money there. I agree, and if you need advice or you just need someone to hype up Minneapolis, I'm your girl. I like Minneapolis is such a wonderful place. Really, just
It's
highly underrated city.
a hub, so it's easy to get to. you know?
easy to get to. But let's talk about this. Rachel, when you asked Rachel Maddow what keeps her up at night, she really dug into this whole um, warehouse prison camps situation. These warehouses that are being purchased or attempted to be purchased all across the country. There's been great significant pushback, but we also need to talk about the current uh, detention centers and the facilities that are in existence. And I want to put this up because Representative Jamie Raskin, who is a lawyer, I will just put that out there. He went to do an oversight visit of an ice field facility in Baltimore. And he posted this and he said that the staff that he met with respected his right to visit, but he said what he saw was disgraceful. He said that they saw 60 men packed into a room, shoulder to shoulder, 24 hours a day with a single toilet in the room and no shower facilities. He said they sleep like sardines with aluminum foil blankets. Whether it's for 3 days or 7 days, nobody would want a member of their family warehouse there. And he said that the room set aside for dangerous criminals and violent offenders was empty. So this is one facility. I'm reading ProPublica has done just incredible work digging into investigating some of these facilities. I read some of their work that said that the kids at Dilley in Texas have worms crawling through their food. We're hearing of measles outbreaks. We're hearing of just really awful conditions as far as hygiene goes. So pay attention to these stories because this is happening right now in our country, across the nation.
Yeah, and Jamie Raskin, even though he's a lawyer, should have no reason to lie. He's gonna bring forth the information that he sees, and, if this seems wrong to you, then I think you're part of the vast, vast majority of Americans that at least want people treated humanely. Um, it's unfortunate that, the administration dehumanizes people. Uh, it's dangerous too, very dangerous.
Okay, my last headline to talk about today is another friend of the show, former guest, your friend, Senator Mark Kelly. A federal judge blocked the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, from punishing Senator Kelly over the video that he and five other members of Congress, five other Democrats, made, which basically reminded folks in the military that they do not have to follow illegal orders, that they should not follow illegal orders. This order that the judge issued, 29-page opinion, 29-page opinion. It is just temporary until this goes through the full court process here. But the judge basically said that any attempts by Pete Hegseth to discipline Mark Kelly blatantly violates his First Amendment rights. And the judge used exclamation points throughout this 29-page opinion. Let's just mention, before we call him a liberal activist judge, this was a judge that was appointed by President George W. Bush. And it wasn't long after that we heard from Secretary Pete Hegseth, who said that this will be immediately appealed. And he wrote, "Sedition is sedition, Captain." And he put captain in quotation marks. Also worth mentioning related to that video that a grand jury this week also rejected attempts to indict the other members in that video.
Yeah, we started this conversation, talking about, Pam Bondi, a cabinet member, and now we're talking about, Hegseth, another cabinet member. I've said on this show before, I don't think that you could find a more ill-equipped group of cabinet secretaries and attorney generals than this group. I think Hegseth, uh, is unfortunately way, way out of line on this. These are words that he's actually said himself. But he's been told that anybody who challenges the president, and I think this illegal order thing for the military also applies to illegal orders in other agencies. And I think that's what upset him so much. And I think that this is unfortunate that Hegseth can't push back even a little bit and say, you know what, Mr. President, I actually said this a few years back, word for word, almost verbatim, of what Kelly and Crow and the others said. Um, but nonetheless, I think the judge made the right decision. The other thing I would say is this, and when we always do this, we always say this judge was a George Bush appointee or a Bill Clinton appointee or a Barack Obama appointee or a Trump appointee. You know, judges are supposed to call balls and strikes based on the law, not by who appointed them. And unfortunately, that's kind of gone away with some of the Trump appointees. And I think that that's also very, very harmful to our democracy and very, very dangerous.
Our Substack community has some clever jokes because Main Street Montana said, "You'll like this, Senator. I think you might steal this. It's more of a junk drawer than a cabinet."
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's I don't know how you find these people. I usually you look for people if you're in a position of leadership, you look for people who are smarter than you are. That's not what he did, and that's a low bar to start out with.
Robin Butler Hall is asking us to get the story of the diesel mechanic from Freud, Montana to Rachel Maddow. This was a man who was basically detained in that community. The community fought back. I will tell you, Robin, that I already saw Rachel Maddow repost a story about that. So it's on her radar. That's what we have for headlines today. We are finalizing our plan for the show next week. Senator Tester is going to be traveling a lot this month, so we are working around his schedule. But I promise you, we have a lot of really great guests already lined up. So we are going to finalize that. I have to ask you about your hat because that's what we do at the end of our show. And this is going to give me a chuckle. Tell me what this hat is about, Senator Tester.
I can't tell you what this hat's about. Uh, and I think there's a
Well, tell
disadvantage.
me how you chose this hat.
So
Like,
I get I've got hats for the last 50 years, okay? Farmers wear hats. I mean, they're like a walking billboard. And so I got a bunch of them, and I you get so many you can't wear, so I just put them in a bag, and I got a lot of hats, let's just put it that way, and this is one of the hats that I probably put in a bag 20 years ago.
yeah,
The
I bet
rest
that's right.
of
I bet that's
about
right.
20 years ago, and I pulled it out, and I don't know what it means. I hope it doesn't have anything to do with the Epstein files, that's all.
Well, I can't say. I mean, it seems like everything has to do with the Epstein files, but, Von Dutch, this is a Von Dutch hat. This is a hat that was very, very popular in the early 2000s.
I'm
So
a
you're
stylist. I'm a trendsetter, you know? I'm
yes,
breaking back.
you're just 24 years late. That's okay. That's okay. What's old is new again. I think the young kids will think you are very cool. That's not
That's
even
all that
what they would
matters.
say. That
That's all
I heard, I think they say your peak. Your peak.
I'm big,
Yes, that's what
but
they would say.
not the bomb.
No. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You're so cool, Senator. You're very cool. All right, we wanna thank everybody for joining us, hopping on. Again, we have some really, exciting things planned in the next couple of weeks. We will reveal more next week, but we wanna thank you for joining us. Again, we wanna thank Rachel Maddow for just an incredible year anniversary show with us, and thank all of our new followers who joined us from that episode. We were starting off another year here, so let's do it. There's a lot of work to do. Let's keep going. We want to thank Pearl Jam for letting us use their music in our show, which is just incredible. And we want to thank all of you, our listeners. You can find us on Substack, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Wait, one quick comment. I can't let this go. It just came in. If Tester ran for president, he would have won. What do you think about that, Senator?
She must be talking about a battery tester, you know?
All right. We want to thank everyone. I hope you have a good weekend, and we will check in next week.
Tally ho!